I'm going to be brutally honest with you right now. What I'm about to share isn't the kind of thing your father told you before bed. It's not what your teachers drilled into you in school. It's not what society wants you to know. In fact, most men will go to their graves completely blind to this, and that's exactly how the system wants it. Because once you hear what I'm about to tell you, you can't unhear it. It's the kind of knowledge that splits your life into two parts: the time before you knew it and the time after. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli put into words the most dangerous truths about human nature ever recorded. So dangerous that the Catholic Church banned his book. So powerful that kings, presidents, CEOs, and generals have studied it in secret while condemning it in public. Why? Because Machiavelli didn't write theory. He wrote the operating manual for human beings. Not how we pretend to work, not how we wish we worked, but how we actually work. And here's the part that should terrify you. The people who already know these truths are using them against you every single day in boardrooms, in relationships, in politics, in war. They're playing chess while you're still playing checkers. So ask yourself, why didn't your father teach you this? Why didn't your teachers? The answer is simple. Because their fathers didn't teach them. And because society has programmed you to believe that seeing reality makes you cynical. That strategy makes you manipulative. That understanding power makes you evil. But here's the brutal truth: ignorance isn't virtue. Ignorance is weakness. And starting right now, I'm going to make you powerful. I'm going to make you dangerous. And once you see these truths, you'll never see human interaction the same way again. So before we go any further, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what I'm about to reveal will make you see the world differently forever. And you don't want to miss what comes next. You've been told your whole life that humans are rational, that we weigh options, that we calculate outcomes, that we make decisions based on logic and reason. That's a lie, and it's one of the most dangerous lies you've ever been fed. Machiavelli knew the truth 500 years ago. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel." Translation: people make choices based on appearances, on illusions, on what looks right, not what is right. And here's the dark reality. Most people don't want the truth. They want comfort. Think about it. The friend who begs you for advice about his failing relationship, but ignores you because the truth would hurt. The coworker who complains he's broke, then throws away money on Starbucks every morning because the ritual feels good. The woman who swears she wants a nice guy but repeatedly falls into the arms of the man who treats her like an option. Logic dies the moment it collides with desire. Reason evaporates when faced with fear, lust, status, or comfort. That's the game. And you've been playing it wrong because you've been told to persuade people with facts, to win arguments with evidence, to show people the rational path. But facts don't move people. Feelings do. The man who masters feelings, who knows how to bypass logic and speak straight to emotion, controls every room he enters. That man doesn't waste time trying to prove he's right. He makes people feel he's right, and that is infinitely more powerful. Think about the greatest manipulators in history. Hitler didn't rise to power with spreadsheets and statistics. He rose with speeches that inflamed anger, fear, and hope. Corporations don't make billions by showing you the chemical formula of soda. They sell you happiness in a bottle. Religions don't spread with philosophy debates. They spread by capturing the heart, the soul, the fear of damnation, and the promise of paradise. This is why you lose arguments. This is why your advice is ignored. This is why the people you want to influence slip through your fingers. Because you thought people were rational. They're not. They're addicts chasing feelings. So here's your first dark lesson. Stop trying to change minds with facts. Start shaping emotions. Want to make someone follow you? Don't tell them what's good for them. Show them what makes them feel good about themselves. Want to influence a partner? Don't argue about logic. Make them experience the pain of losing you or the joy of pleasing you. Want to dominate in business? Forget data. Craft the story that makes your audience believe you're the inevitable winner. The man who argues with facts is a school teacher. The man who manipulates feelings is a king. And once you understand this, you'll see through everyone around you. The politician's smile, the influencer's brand, the coworker's excuses. All masks designed to protect feelings, not reveal truth. But once you see the mask, once you know that beneath every action is an emotion, a weakness, a hunger, you can pull the strings. And that's just the beginning. Because if people are irrational, then loyalty itself must be an illusion. There are only two kinds of men in this world: predators and prey. That's it. Strip away the polite masks, the politics, the morality, and what you're left with is the oldest law of nature. The strong take. The weak are taken from. And here's the hidden cruelty. Weakness doesn't just fail to protect you. It attracts predators like blood in the water. Think about it. Why do bullies single out the quiet kid, not the fighter? Why do corporations cut the weakest employees first? Why do women abandon the man who bends and cling to the man who stands firm? Because predators always choose the easy meal. Machiavelli knew this. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Not because fear is noble, but because fear keeps the wolves away. Love without strength invites betrayal. Fear without love commands survival. Now here's the sinister twist most men never realize. Weakness doesn't just destroy you. It corrupts everyone around you. A weak man forces others to carry him. A weak man drains the strong until they either cut him loose or collapse with him. A weak man makes the world harsher for everyone else, because when predators devour him, they don't stop. They look for the next meal. That's why weakness is more dangerous than cruelty. Cruel men at least stand on their own. Weak men become black holes, pulling others down with them. And yet society tells you to be harmless, to soften yourself, to embrace your weakness. They call it sensitivity. They call it being a better man. But here's the truth. The man who cannot defend himself, his family, or his reputation is not a good man. He's a liability. Strength is not optional. It is the price of survival. And once you accept this, the world looks different. Every interaction becomes a test. Who is predator? Who is prey? Who is strong enough to set the rules? And who is weak enough to follow them blindly? This is why women chase men who radiate strength, because instinctively they know weakness cannot protect them. This is why leaders rise to power, because people would rather obey the strong than be torn apart in the chaos of the weak. And this is why you must decide. Will you be predator or prey? And this is where Machiavelli gives you the most uncomfortable truth of all: morality is not what you think it is. The virtues you've been told to hold sacred, kindness, honesty, generosity, are often the very tools used to control you. Society praises the man who sacrifices himself for others, but secretly crowns the man who knows when to use virtue as a mask and when to discard it like a broken tool. Machiavelli warned that rulers who cling too tightly to virtue are destroyed by those willing to bend morality for power. And the same is true in your life. The man who insists on always being honest will be outplayed by the man who lies strategically. The man who tries to please everyone will be torn apart by those who please no one but themselves. The man who refuses to act cruel when cruelty is required will watch his enemies devour him while he hides behind noble excuses. Here is the bitter reality. People don't admire goodness, they admire success. They don't follow saints, they follow strength. And when you win, the same people who condemned you will rewrite history to call you virtuous. Look at every empire, every religion, every political movement. Born in blood, deception, and conquest, later retold as destiny, as providence, as greatness. Victory cleanses sin. Defeat amplifies it. So ask yourself, what's more dangerous, to risk staining your soul with necessary cruelty, or to watch your life crumble while clinging to purity? This is not a call to abandon virtue entirely. Machiavelli himself said a ruler should appear virtuous at all times, but appearance is the key word. Appearances keep the masses. Appearances keep allies calm. Appearances keep enemies off guard. What matters is not that you are virtuous, but that you look virtuous while acting effectively. Mercy when it benefits you, cruelty when it protects you, honesty when it secures trust, deception when it saves your skin. Morality is a costume, not a commandment, and those who understand this live free while others live shackled. Now, let's talk about the force that drives loyalty, the chain that binds men more strongly than any promise you fear. You've been told your whole life that love is the highest bond, that if you are kind, loyal, and giving, people will love you and never betray you. But look around you. How many loyal men have been betrayed by wives who swore eternal love? How many devoted employees have been abandoned by companies they bled for? How many nations turned on leaders who loved their people too much to be feared? Machiavelli cut through the illusion with a single blade of truth. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is fragile. Love is conditional, evaporates under stress. Fear endures. Fear makes people think twice before crossing you. Fear is insurance when loyalty wavers. Fear protects you when love fades. Understand this: love is a gift, fear is a weapon. Love inspires loyalty in the good times, but fear guarantees loyalty in the bad. If you are both feared and loved, but if you must choose, always choose fear. Most men are terrified of this truth. They think fear makes you cruel, but the reality is, fear makes you respected, and respect is the soil in which true loyalty grows. A man who fears you will never betray you lightly. A woman who fears losing you will cling harder to your presence. A society that fears your strength will think twice before rebelling. Love without fear is weakness. Fear without love is survival. The balance is everything. And here's the final warning Machiavelli gave us: most men do not think. They only follow. They cling to illusions, to lies, to rituals handed down for centuries. They don't want to know the truth. They want to be comforted by lies. That is why this knowledge is so rare, so dangerous. The herd doesn't want you to see the world as it is. They want you blind, obedient, harmless. Because the moment you see reality, you step outside the herd. And once you step outside, you cannot go back. You see the game. You see the masks. You see the strings being pulled. And suddenly you are no longer a pawn. You are a player. And when you become a player, everything changes. The conversations you have, the deals you make, even the way people look at you. Suddenly you see the hidden layer beneath it all. Words are no longer just words, they are weapons. Smiles are no longer gestures of kindness, they are masks hiding calculation. Every compliment becomes a possible trap. Every handshake a test of dominance, every silence a negotiation. Most men will go through their entire lives never seeing this layer, because they are too busy being distracted by the surface. They are entertained by bread and circus, trapped in gossip, blinded by emotion. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You start to recognize who is weak and who is strong, who is lying and who is desperate, who is leading and who is pretending. This is the awakening Machiavelli warned us about. The awakening that makes you dangerous. Now understand this, the herd will always despise the one who sees too much. They will call you cold, manipulative, arrogant. They will brand you as ruthless for doing nothing more than noticing the truth they are too cowardly to face. But Machiavelli made it clear, it is not cruelty to see the world as it is wisdom. The truly cruel are those who lull men into false hopes, who fatten them with lies before sacrificing them to the strong. To wake up is not cruelty. To wake up is survival. This is why the masses are controlled by illusions. Religion tells them suffering is noble. Politics tells them obedience is freedom. Schools tell them conformity is intelligence. Media tells them weakness is virtue. And all of it works because most men want to believe it. They don't want power, they want comfort. They don't want truth, they want reassurance. They don't want freedom, they want permission. And that is why so few will ever escape. But Machiavelli's warning was for the few, the rare souls who choose to think. He wrote not for the herd, but for the princes, for the leaders, for the ones willing to bear the weight of reality. And if you are listening now, truly listening, it means you are not like the rest. It means something inside you refuses to be tamed. It means you were born to play the game, not to be played by it. But understand the cost. Once you choose to see, you cannot return to the bliss of ignorance. You will see the weakness in your friends, the manipulation in your leaders, the lies in your society, and that knowledge will isolate you. But in that isolation, you will find power. Because once you stop expecting truth from liars, loyalty from opportunists, and fairness from the world, you become untouchable. You no longer bleed when they strike. You no longer falter when they betray. You no longer fear when they threaten. You have already accepted reality, and reality has made you stronger. This is the gift Machiavelli left behind, not comfort, not hope, but clarity. A clarity so sharp it cuts through centuries of illusion. A clarity that transforms you from pawn to player, from victim to predator, from spectator to strategist. And that clarity is the trait you were never supposed to have. Because once you have it, the world can never lie to you again. But here is the final truth you were never supposed to know. Once you hold this clarity, you inherit a responsibility. You are no longer free to drift as the herd does. You cannot claim innocence, nor hide behind ignorance. You have seen the gears of power, and you must decide, will you use this vision to lead, or will you waste it and fall like the rest? Machiavelli's warning was never about cruelty for its own sake. It was about survival. It was about those rare men and women who rise above the illusions, who dare to seize control of their own fate. He knew that most would fail, because most cannot endure the weight of seeing the world without disguise. But if you can, then you step into a realm reserved for the few, the realm where influence is invisible, where strength is silent, and where power is not given, but taken. So remember this, you were not supposed to know. You were not supposed to read between the lines, to notice the lies, to awaken to the game. But now you do. And once the veil is lifted, there is no turning back. From this moment forward, you are no longer the same. You carry the burden Machiavelli warned us of. And with it, you carry the edge that makes you untouchable.